Hello, Oracles! Well, we are looking at what could potentially be a very strong record-breaking month of September for Tesla, which could mean that we could see a massive run for Tesla stock in October. This is something we've been talking about and getting more and more information that we are seeing from production and deliveries coming out of Shanghai are pointing to just that. We could see maybe a pullback due to the macro environment for Tesla stock over the next couple of weeks, and then that massive run going into October. So I'm going to break down some of that information for you guys right now. Looking pre-market at the moment, Tesla is pushing up about 1/3%. We're going to be testing that 280 level again now, but it's going to be a resistance level versus a support now that we have closed below 280. We'll see if we can break back above that today. We'll find out for sure at the end of the day. For me, not a huge concern. Again, we have some awesome, massive catalysts that are coming up for us. So even if we do end up pulling back, that's kind of what I'm looking for, fill those gaps, and then we can go on this massive run. We've seen it in the past. It happened in 2020 post-split then. It has happened many years before. So this is something that could totally happen. And as Gary Black had mentioned before, Tesla has seen an average of a 53% gain in the second half from 2017 until 2021. So there is nothing to tell us that this year is going to be any different. Macro environment is slightly different than it has been in the past, but we can still see a massive run going into the end of the year as we get inflation numbers coming down, as the interest rates continue to go up, and the macro environment settles itself. So getting into some of the potential record-breaking numbers we are seeing coming out of September is we've got Dr. Dave had shared in the comments below. Thank you, Dr. Dave. Looks like there's potentially a record 9 ships going into the EU from Shanghai carrying Tesla vehicles. This is huge because as those land, those deliveries will most likely fall in the September month. Now, at the same time, we know that Shanghai historically focuses the last half of each quarter on domestic deliveries. So if we are looking at a potential record of 91 to 100,000 vehicles being produced out of Shanghai in September, that means that the majority of those are going to be delivered in September. And then all of those ships landing in September also mean deliveries for September. So we could be seeing a record over 100,000 vehicles being delivered in the month of September from Shanghai alone. So we had seen a record of 79,000 vehicles delivered in June out of Shanghai. This is going to smash that record. So nothing obviously is set in concrete, nothing is confirmed, but just looking at where we are at with production, deliveries, ships landing, and the way Tesla has run its business as far as deliveries go for the last month of a quarter, this is shaping up to be a huge September. So looking at this in the future, I'm saying, all right, well, Berlin is already profitable as a factory as it is. So when we're looking at 9 ships being a record coming over from Shanghai, that is awesome. What I'm really looking forward to in the future is less and less ships coming over from Shanghai because Berlin is at a ramp pace that can cover all of the deliveries that need to be made in the EU. So that to me is going to be the turning point in the future because the less ships that have to come out of Shanghai to the EU means the more profits we can get out of Shanghai because delivery costs will be lower. Now we do know that there's going to be more countries around the world that are going to be taking Teslas in, so Shanghai will still be the major export hub for Tesla. So it's not like there's going to be less ships overall coming out of Shanghai. It just means those ships are going to be going into other places and filling other countries with more Teslas, like Australia, who has been very excited to be selling Teslas recently. So let me know in the comments below, how many deliveries do you think Shanghai is going to make in the month of September? I'm going with 110,000. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. And some other information we got in the comments from Sophie is about a new gigafactory coming to UK for batteries. It is from a company called Britishvolt. So I think we're going to see a lot of this over the next decade, a lot of startup battery companies coming out. You know, we're seeing the EV revolution really taking over. It's not even a question anymore of what direction we are moving as a world. It is going to EVs. So a lot of people out there are saying, well, what can we do to make money on this? Because that's what happens, you know, when you see disruptive technologies coming in, there's a lot of new companies that come up. We've talked about FANG stocks. Before the internet existed, none of the FANG stocks existed themselves other than Apple. So when that happens, we get disruption. We're going to have new companies come up. Looks like Britishvolt is the newest one coming in the UK. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more in a lot of different areas when it comes to EVs and switching over to renewable energy in the future. Let me know if you guys have seen any new companies popping up in your areas around the world as well to see how we're making this transition. I've been seeing much more on the news, and even on our local news yesterday, they were actually had Tesla on there talking about Elon when he was over in Norway, speaking about FSD coming out for wide release in North America, and then perhaps coming over to Europe as well by the end of the year in some facet. So the local news that I have is now talking about this. The majority of the news yesterday was actually about EVs, renewable energy, charging stations, a lot of different things going on, solar. So lots of news is now picking up on all of this transition as well. So the disruption is now happening in mainstream media more so than it was before. So if there was ever a question as to whether we are actually going to be moving in this direction, mainstream media is picking it up. And if mainstream media is picking it up, you can bet we are moving in that direction, because mainstream media is usually pretty slow to pick up on some things and get the actual true facts. So if they're talking about it, that means we're probably moving in that direction. So I'm actually probably going to reach out to my local news and see if there's something I can do to help with them, because as we know, mainstream media doesn't always give us the right information, because they don't get the same information we get. You know, they're not diving into Twitter, they're not diving into YouTube to really find out from, you know, those of us in the community what is actually going on and what it truly means. So I'm going to reach out to them myself and see if there's anything I can help them with to kind of better their stories and give them more facts that are out there, especially when it comes to FSD and autonomy and how Tesla is doing versus everyone else. So they really didn't get into much about, you know, the whole LiDAR radar situation. You know, they didn't talk about that. It was more of a broad brush. This is what Tesla is doing. This is what Elon has said. So before they get to that point of, hey, this is the difference and this is what's better and not better, I'm going to try to nip that in the bud beforehand if I can. I don't know what kind of sway I will have, because it's mainstream media after all, but I'll do my best. And in some other news, we had been talking about last week how T-Mobile is going to be partnering with SpaceX, and it now looks like Starlink is going to be put into Royal Caribbean cruise ships. So this is something that Elon is also excited about. You know, thinking about how, you know, you're on the open water, your cell service probably isn't that great, you're going to get Wi-Fi from the ship itself, but now if you can get even better service from Starlink, that's huge. We've already seen it go into some airlines around the world, so this is just the next realistic step for Starlink and for better connectivity around the world. This is great to see, not particularly specific Tesla news, but just putting the pieces of the puzzle together as we discussed last week. Little by little, all of Elon's companies are going to work with each other to better humanity in the future, and I think this is just the next step. So we're seeing little puzzle pieces getting put together, and we have yet to see the full big picture. But if you can see down the road what all of these little pieces mean, you can see the full picture, and the full picture is going to be a great world where there's going to be better connectivity, a safer world for all of humanity, where we can actually grow the human population. We know that one of Elon's biggest concerns is population collapse. And if we can minimize a lot of the deaths that are unnecessary around the world from car accidents or unable to communicate with the outside world because you're in remote areas, a lot of different things like this could in turn help the population grow as well. So this is just another piece of the master puzzle that is coming out. And when it comes to the master puzzle, we are expecting Master Plan Part 3 to be coming out very soon. So when that comes out, we know that we are talking about scaling to extreme size. This is, I think, what a lot of these pieces are going to entail is I think he's going to incorporate a lot of his other companies into this master plan. And I think this is really going to entice a lot of other companies like the Britishvolts to come out and say, all right, well, this is the direction that we're moving. This is the actual scale and size that we are looking to get to in the future. So that could excite the entire industry to really push this even further, even faster. So I'm excited to see Master Plan Part 3 because I think that's going to be, you know, we're already pushing in this direction. I think it's going to be another strong push to get us going in the EV adoption direction. And we can see by 2026, 2027, the majority of the world is going to be EVs. We're already seeing states like California banning ICE vehicles by 2035. It looks like New York and New Jersey are on pace for that as well. So going in those directions, we see that EVs are coming. We see that Tesla is leading the way with EVs. And so what this means for the future of Tesla is just month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year, record-breaking numbers. So all I can see is just record-breaking numbers consistently coming for the next decade for Tesla. It's going to be absolutely wild, and every single time we break a record, Tesla stock is going to skyrocket even more. And so even though currently in this moment right now, we are on a downward trend for the stock, we anticipated this, we thought it was a possibility, and we are here now, but it is very near term. Look long term, look bigger picture. Do your own due diligence and research. This is not financial advice, but if you are looking long term at a bigger picture at what the potential is for Tesla and the direction they have proven that they can go in the future, buying anything right now and any pullback we get right now is just very near term, and it is more market manipulation and macro environment related than future long-term investing related. Just remember that when you see these stock prices coming down and you're asking yourself, should I sell? What's going on? Why are we falling? Totally good, in my opinion. We are taking this as a buying opportunity, and I'm going to be adding even heavier the more we fall. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think Q3 production and delivery numbers are going to look like for Tesla? Currently, I'm right around 370,000 vehicles. I'm going to be updating my numbers this weekend as well. I'll put those over on Patreon, and then I will share last week's numbers over on Twitter, and I'll share it with you guys as well this weekend. I just like to give the patrons over there a week's head start on everything because they are paying for it, so I want to give them some extra information. So I'll put that over there, but let me know in the comments below what you guys think we're going to see for production and deliveries and how you think the stock is going to react in October. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And we do have that Patreon. That link is also down in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.